Welcome to Being at Home with George. I'm excited to be here, and let's begin the way we always begin by saying yes, by embracing whatever comes up, saying yes to it, and at the same time generating hope. So I'm excited. Here we are, 3 days before Christmas, and of course, there's also Kwanzaa and Hanukkah. There's a tremendous amount of holidays, and actually, anytime we have a reason to celebrate and make merry, it's great. And so I like to think about this idea on the 22nd of December. We have 9 days left in the year to do this, what I call pause and reflect, and just think about things. And the exciting thing about it is we don't have to be Ebenezer Scrooge to pause and reflect, even though he was kind of forced to pause and reflect because of the three angels that visited him, the future, the past, and the present. But I like to think about and reflect on one of my favorite poems that reminds me this time of year by Robert Frost. And the name of the poem is Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. And so that sounds like pause and reflect to me. And so let me read the poem. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in a village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year, which I believe was yesterday. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. What's going on, dude? The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep and miles to go before I sleep. So for some reason, being really young when I first read this poem, and I must have been in elementary school or junior high school, I don't remember, but I started thinking how that the woods are lovely, dark, and deep, and I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep and miles to go before I sleep. And it's interesting because this has been a really busy year, but at the same time, I believe one reason why I was able to go through so much of it and think about this idea of effort creates energy. And if you want something done, you give it to a busy person. That would be me for sure. I don't know if it would be you, but I feel like this idea of continuing to go, this poem actually inspired me to push through and to realize that, I have promises to keep in miles and miles before I sleep, but I will sleep at some point, but not now, not today. And so this idea, I think, is really helpful for us to reflect because true understanding comes from reflecting on experience and thinking about things like what I do today is going to create tomorrow. And at the same time, I can't let yesterday affect today other than really getting clear about what are the seeds I want to plant. And this idea of stopping and pausing and thinking about it. And stopping in the woods on a snowy evening is pretty sweet because the only other sound is the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. There's something about that. It's just being able to just be able to hear whatever's there, to be present for whatever's there. So that's just my hokey way of saying happy holidays and pause and reflect and realize we have promises to keep and miles to go before we sleep.